Hi, I'm Kristie Clayton, founder and visionary of HERverse. HER is an acronym for Helping Executives Rise. Welcome to ConvHERsation with Kristie, where we dive into real, raw, and inspiring conversations with incredible leaders. You see, at HERverse, we're not just a community, we're a movement, a space where women leaders rise together, support one another, and celebrate our collective success. Whether you're leading as a second in command, steering the vision as the visionary or founder, or driving impact with your company as a leadership team member, HERverse was designed for you. Our mission is to provide resources, coaching, and peer support that you need to grow confidently in your leadership journey. Through memberships like Female Executive Mastermind and the Lead Her community, along with events like workshops and summits, and even personalized coaching, we are here to help women embrace their strengths, overcome challenges, and truly thrive. And that's what ConvHERsation with Kristie is about too. It's a space to share the golden nuggets of wisdom that come from authentic, heartfelt, real conversations. There's no scripts, there's no fluff, just honest insights from leaders who are leading boldly and making an impact. See, I believe leadership isn't something you do alone. It's a journey we navigate, and we don't have to do that alone. We can do it together, because together we rise. Now, let's get started with today's conversation. I am confident you are going to love it.
Hi, everybody. My name is Paisley Coxsey. I'm so excited to be here with Kristie. I've been on the back end of this since day one, so it's crazy to be in front of the screen. Here we are, my first podcast. So I'm here just to ask Kristie some amazing questions about the HERverse community and everything that it's done, and just share a little bit about me. I stepped into the fractional integrator space last year and was really needing a community, and Kristie was recommended to me so quickly, and so glad to be here. I've helped with roundtables, I've helped with marketing, and so just being a part of HERverse itself has been fun. So really excited to be here and honored to be here, Kristie, and let's get started.
Absolutely. Thanks for jumping in and flipping the mic on me this week and interviewing me.
Yes, I'm excited. So I really want this to be a focused conversation about the community. It's been really impactful for me. I know for you and anybody that's been a part of it. So for those that don't know about HERverse and what they can get from, the space in the community, what would you say?
Yeah. So this is a space that is designed specifically for women who sit in that COO integrator role, or they report to that role. So they're owning a leadership team role in a department. We have two communities with inside of HERverse that really create space for each one of them. And so what I have found is that there's just amazing conversations that happen amongst one another. We have workshops to help you elevate yourself as specifically as a right-hand leader, that COO, that integrator, or as a leadership team member. All of the things that we're doing, the content is completely it is designed specifically with these roles in mind. So we're not just going to be talking about, random things. We're really, really honed in and focused. And we have so many different ways that people can engage too. So what I love to say is you can be as involved in everything that you want to, or if being involved in everything is too much, you can also pick and choose what makes the most sense for you, because there are options that are available.
I love that. And especially in the femme space, so many of us can feel so alone, and it's just great to have that community around you where you can ask questions. Like my team was looking for a new accounting team. Where do I even start? So I threw it in there, and, I have a great team around me now because of it. So it's so beneficial. And I could only imagine if I was back in, my sales seat and was managing my team and having issues, if I had a community to say, hey, has anybody experienced this? The amount of knowledge I could have gotten so much faster than, Googling everything. I think it's really great that you developed that. And I'm so happy so many different women get to engage in that. It's really great.
Well, thank you. I appreciate that. And not only can I go and get these resources, but also it really decreases the amount of trial and error, right? I can ask a question, people contribute, like what worked for me, what didn't work for me. So, hey, use caution around this. And it really truly is a way to expedite. the learning process of something new or something you're unfamiliar with.
I love that. Yeah, I mean, how many times have we all done something over and over again where if we had just asked somebody that had already done all that heavy lifting for us, we could have saved a lot of time and avoided a lot of headaches. So it's really great. Okay, so that awesome answer. I love it. What do you think makes this community so different from others out there?
Yeah, I think there's two things that really stand out to me. Number one is that this is really truly a community that was designed specifically for women who are sitting in these seats, right? So if you're sitting in the COO, integrator, orchestrator, operator, chief of staff, like we have a plethora of titles that we use here. But if you're sitting in this seat and you're working with a visionary or a business owner to really truly execute that vision, leading the day-to-day operations, leading that leadership team, like this space is really truly curated specifically for you. And so instead of being in a room full of, a whole bunch of other people who are all leaders, but they're not doing exactly what you're doing, these women understand, right? They've been there, they've done that, they're walking beside you in this journey. And also because we do tend to be, integrators or COOs that are working with smaller businesses, entrepreneurs, we truly get that, right? We're not focused on corporate America and, all of the larger organizations. We're very, very specific in who we're serving. And if you're sitting on a leadership team, it's really, truly that same thing too, right? Is I know I'm going to walk into a room with other women who are leading a department. They have the same challenges that I have, and I can really truly work with them. The other big thing for me, Paisley, is I've been a part of several different women's groups, and some of them were fantastic. But also, there was a few of them where it felt like instead of being in a space where people wanted to help each other rise and they wanted to like collaborate and help one another, it was almost like competitive, like what look at me and who I am, right? And like climbing on top of each other and proving ourselves. And that is not what this space is whatsoever. When we founded HERverse, and actually starting with them, it really truly was founded on, hey, this is a collaborative space. We want to support one another. We want to help each other. We really truly like share knowledge, share experiences so that we can all rise. Because I believe when the tides rise, all of the boats rise at the same time. And so we don't have to be competitive with one another. We can support one another, we can cheer each other on, and we can really truly be that advocate for one another instead of being competitive and trying to climb on top of each other and prove ourselves. We can prove ourselves just by the work that we do and the great things that we're accomplishing.
I love that. And I think just the competitive piece you're talking about is such a big thing. Like every single woman that I've met in this group, they want to support you. That, I have people reaching out, how are things going? Is there anything I can do to help? And especially being in that fractional integrator space, it's like sometimes just having somebody reach out and say, hey, I'm here for you means so much. And I feel like you said, most communities don't have that. So they don't benefit from me getting a job or working with a client in any way, but if they can support me or help me, they want to. And that's something really unique and rare. And I feel like it's something, makes me excited and passionate, and I want to be here and doing what I'm doing. So it's a great thing that you've built. And I'm glad that there's so many amazing women that have joined and been able to benefit from that as well.
Thank you. I appreciate that. It's really truly, it's the women that are part of it that make it so special. And hearing their voices, hearing the way that they really truly love on one another and just deeply care, right? I mean, they just deeply care about one another. And I mean, having been at Summit a few times, that it's always so heartwarming to me when I see women that they're like two ends of the hotel lobby, and they run together and they embrace, and they're just, how are things going? And they catch up, and they really truly are just supportive. They're cheerleading for one another. But they're also, I think, really special too, is not only cheerleading, not only supporting, but I know I have personally found that a lot of the women will challenge me too, right? And really try to push me to keep going and to think bigger, to think more. And sometimes they hold that mirror up too, of saying, you preach this all the time, but are you practicing what you preach? And and being able to have that space of true confidence and true collaboration and camaraderie with one another, where I know when they're holding that mirror up to me, they're not doing it in any type of like spiteful, hateful way. They're like, Kristie, like this, you know who you are, and they're holding that mirror to hold that space for me, right? So it's a wonderful group of women.
I love that. Is there an instance that stands out to you of one of those? Because I mean, you're a visionary now, right? You're in that visionary seat and you're surrounded by tons of integrators, right? And we want to do things, we want to get things moving. We've got questions. And I think because we, for the most part, have always been that support role, I think, like you said, it's always in a supportive way. So is there a specific instance that stands out that, made a difference in whether that's HERverse or your life from some questions or some pushback?
Yeah, no, that's a great question. I think the one that stands out to me is probably one that happened really recently, where I was sharing with my chapter, my alliance that we get together, and these women were they were encouraging me to really think bigger than what I was thinking. I was sharing with them the future and what things look like, and it was like, help me poke holes in this, right? What am I missing? What am I not looking for? And one of them she held that mirror up and she said, the only thing that I would really encourage you is really to think is, are you thinking big enough? Right. And it was like, oh, I thought I was thinking big. Right. And she was like, I 100% agree with you and where you're going and what it looks like. I'm super excited about it. But what if it was bigger? And it was like, to be challenged in that way was really, really amazing.
I love that. And I feel so many people are afraid to think bigger. And so you narrow yourself in because this big dream, like that's too much. So I love that you have that community to support you. I'd love to, understand what Alliance is a little bit better, because clearly you're getting some amazing support out of it. And I'd love if others could understand that experience and maybe join themselves.
Yeah. So it's probably one of my favorite things that we have is we have actually 3 different types of forum. We have what we call roundtables, which is about an hour and a half, depending on the group, that gets together every month. And, they're just talking through their biggest issue. What's their biggest issue, their greatest challenge right now, that they can help one another on. And then they walk away with action items. They come back and hold each other accountable. We also have ConvHERs, and I'm so incredibly excited about ConvHERs because this is taking what we're doing virtually and expanding it to do it in person. So we have chapters that are launching right now in Philadelphia, Minneapolis, and Denver, and we have about 8 more cities that are currently in the works. So really, really excited. Now, this is a group that's going to get together 4 hours per month, a half a day every month. And they have an agenda that they're going to go through where they're really diving deep into their businesses, right? They're going to have a hot seat that they can sit and they can really, truly dive deep and look into, again, what is their biggest opportunity? What is their greatest challenge that they can really, truly like dive in with one another? And I will tell you, I've done this several times for the last 4 years with the Alliance. And every time I'm just so amazed at the conversations that happen with a group of integrators, sitting at a table and all of them coming with, different experiences and different knowledge that they have, and being able to take something and really, truly pick it apart and like, hey, have you thought about this? And what about this? And, oh, my experience with this has been that. And then the next thing you know, like, you've got this grand plan that you can go back to that oftentimes we felt the reason we brought it to the hot seat is because we felt stuck.
Yeah.
Right. We felt like, this is not progressing. This is not moving forward. But I'm so in the weeds that I can't see the bigger picture and I can't see this. And sometimes it's such a simple solve. Right. And then having, 7 other women, 8 women all together, coming together to really, truly like take your issue and make it theirs and share experience, share solves and potentials that could help you. It is a huge game changer. So the chapters are, like I said, they're virtual or we're launching in person. And those are a half a day each month. And then the Alliance is a mastermind that meets a full day once a month. And right now we have a really special group of women that are part of the Alliance. These are women that were in the Integrator seat for years, and they have transitioned over to the visionary role and are really leaning into that. And since this is, being a previous integrator and sitting in that visionary seat, it's kind of a unique space for us. And so being able to tap into others that have that same experience, that same knowledge, and the same challenges too, right? It's really truly bringing us all together so that we can really like dive into what are our unique issues and how do we help each other through them.
I love that. And I mean, I know we've talked about the chapters. I'm so excited for all of that. And if you're in the Philadelphia area, I know Tina's leading that one and she's really excited about it too. So just having these, momentum behind things. I'm excited to see where those go, and just knowing you can have that in-person conversation. I think back to Summit, I'm like, could we have Summit like every day? Because it's just fun to be around the community and be with people. So even just to get a little glimpse of being together, like that's just really great. And I know I've heard so many stories about the Alliance and how great that is. So I'm excited to just continue to see that grow and more women get supported there as well. And especially those that felt like they couldn't be in the community anymore because they weren't in that integrator seat, but still wanted that support, that you were able to build that for them, I think is really great. And again, just speaks to, you're here to support women in business in any way that you can. So I love it.
Absolutely. And that's actually how like the chapters got, fully launched this year. Paisley, is exactly what you just said. We had women that were attending Summit last year that said, how do we bring all of this energy, these connections that we're making, these long-term relationships that have clearly been formed, how do we take this back to our community? And I was just so excited about that because if you go back to the original business plan I put together, the original VTO, that was on that very first like long-term issues list, is how do we create chapters to bring this locally to people? So now we had the women who are wanting it. It's been part of our plan and what we wanted to do. And then the icing on the cake was we had a couple of women who are part of larger organizations that have local chapters who raised their hand and said, hey, if you ever want help with launching something like this, let us know. And we just really truly felt like, man, we have all of the components now. It's part of our plan. It's what our members are asking for. And now we have women who have experience doing this. And so I'm just so incredibly excited that this is definitely the future of what HERverse is. And it's been part of the plan all along.
I love that. Anything else on that plan roadmap that you're like, I am so excited to get this going? Because it seems like this one, just snap your fingers, it happened because so many were excited and willing to do it. So anything else on the horizon?
Well, I think the big thing for me is, we are really honed in on who we are right now, and the chapters are definitely a huge part of that. And so we're not really doing a lot of changes. But what I would say is we're going to be really elevating a lot of the things that we're doing, right? So instead of just having workshops, we might be rebranding a little bit to master classes. Got to get that her in there, right?
Yes. There's no her to fit in workshops, so
exactly. But we're really truly just honing in and trying to elevate every experience. Wanting to make sure that as women are coming, you receive value from what we're doing. And I think one of the things that we're really honed in right now is, what is it that integrators need? What is it that the leadership team members truly need in today's atmosphere, in today's environment, that we can create material and bring speakers in that can really speak to that specifically. So there's going to be a lot more elevation that's coming with workshops. And so what we're really focused on is, again, Summit's coming up. I can't believe it's only like 4.5 months away. And really just elevating that experience too. Probably one of the things that I'm most excited about, we have some incredible speakers, by the way. Arwen Berger, Christine Watts, Kara Ahinger. Like, we have some incredible speakers that will be at Summit this year. And I am just so excited. And I could go on and on. Haven Waits. I mean, just the list goes on and on. But I think one of the things that I'm most excited about, Paisley, is I've heard this for years, women saying, and not just women, but all people who go to conferences, they say, man, my time at conferences, I'm just running from one session to the next, and it's just crazy busy, crazy busy, crazy busy. And it's wonderful because I'm getting all this information, but it is drinking from a fire hose.
Definitely.
And then I go back to my office and I got to get right back into the day to day. And the next thing I know, it's 3 months later and I haven't even looked at my conference notes. And I'm like, oh, that's a missed opportunity, right? That we really could slow down and really think through, what do we want to do? Hey, I just received all of this incredible information. What in the world am I going to do with it? And so at Summit this year, we've actually created space for that. So we will have all of our breakout sessions, and then we will take some time for you to have self-reflection and then table talk as well, so that you can hear from the people who are sitting at your table. What did they get from the session? And what are they taking back to their teams? Because I don't know about you, but I know for me, a couple of times when I've gone to conference and I'm having those conversations with others, I'm like, oh, I did not hear it the way that you did. That brings up a whole new element. And we have that conversation and go deeper into it. And it's like, oh, that's super, that is super cool. And so we're creating that space this year for people to be able to do that. And so instead of running from one session to the next, there's going to be time to slow down, reflect, and to have that table conversation.
I love that. And I just keep thinking back to Summit last year. And one of the biggest moments for me happened there. And it was during the roundtables. And, I was nervous to bring up, and you're talking about some emotional things in person. And every single person at my table was so supportive. And I was really struggling with making a decision. And I just remember I felt like I can continue to do this. It's no problem. By the end of that conversation, I sent off an email. Things were changed immediately. And I was like, okay, if I got nothing else out of that week, that instantly changed my life in such a positive way. And so just, like I said, this is a supportive community, but, I didn't know those women prior to that conversation. And everybody was supportive and, rubbing my back saying it's going to be okay. And somebody else had such a heartfelt one as well, ends up crying while sharing the story. And it's like, we're all just there to support, and being able to do that at Summit when, that's the last thing that we're doing at Summit, right? Your brains are tired, but even then we're able to show up and be supportive. And I also know the workbook that you had and walking through that at Summit, I made sure as soon as I got home, I put my butt in my seat and finished it. So I love that there'll be some more time to do that at Summit, but I feel like, the conversations I had, I was putting that space and making sure that I was actually taking the action out of it. And it did take finding the time to do that. So I love that we'll be able to have the time to do that a little bit more at Summit and not have to find it once we get back. So that's really, really great that you've added that in there.
Yeah, we're excited about it. I mean, I think, and prompting us too of, what things do you need to take back to a clarity break to think about for yourself? What do you need to take to your visionary in a same page meeting? What do you need to add as an issues list to a department meeting or to an L10 or, whatever that may look like. But there's going to be some really great prompts. I'm super, super excited about it. And I agree with you. One of the amazing things at Summit for me personally is, again, I talked about the women who embrace and they're so excited to catch up with one another, but also the women that come for the very first time, the feedback that they give us, that they immediately felt welcomed in with open arms. And it's not a competitive space of me versus you. It's really truly how do we unite in this, and how do we do this together? And it's great to hear that you had that experience too.
Yeah, definitely. It was my first time last year. And although I knew people just being a part of the community, I'm somebody that I'm an extrovert by nature, but I'm insecure around new people. So I find myself just wanting to sit in the corner and all of that. And I felt like every table I sat at, people were asking questions and I felt welcome and included. And then, the events throughout, just you sit down at a table and you don't feel uncomfortable. And I've gone to plenty of conference, being in sales in the past and doing so many things, you'd sit at a table and you might be the only one that ends up at that table, but people would call people over, hey, come join us. Or, I saw people make a point to go sit by different people at, each lunch and all of that. So it's really great. And it was in people's nature to do it. It wasn't somebody felt obligated or felt bad. It was, hey, I'd love to get to know you and what you're doing. So even the sponsors and vendors and all of that there, they all did that as well. So it's a great environment. I'm really excited for Houston, but yeah, just I have to add that.
I love that because that's what we intended to create, right? And so to you having that experience means a lot to me.
Yeah, it was funny because especially just helping with Summit in general, it's like go, go, go all day. And I would be like, I'm going to be so tired tomorrow. And I'd wake up like an hour earlier than I planned, just energized and excited. And I'm not a morning person. And I'd show up at 8 a.m. peppy. And I'm like, okay.
Yes. I would say the opposite, right? I usually am an early bird, and so I'll stay up till 10 or 11 o'clock at night because I'm so engaged in conversations, and then return the next morning just so excited to be with everybody again, and and talking through things, and just helping one another. I think that's the most amazing space is it's really a space for us to be able to contribute. And I know I've heard, so many times women say, I'm brand new to this role. Like, I'm not going to have anything to contribute. No, you do. You really, really do. And I'll never forget Nicole Minicky, really sharing that one time, that when she first started, she was pretty new to the role. And she was like, I'm going to go to this and I'm just going to take and take and take. Like, I'm just going to receive everything I possibly can. And then she said one of the greatest things for her was when she was able to contribute to the conversation and give back. And she was like, oh, wait a minute, like this is give and receive. It's not all give, it's not all receive. It really truly is both. And to know that, someone even brand new to the role felt that way, man, that was amazing.
I love that. And I think that's what's really exciting about Lead Her, because so many women are, especially nowadays, are like typically younger being put in those roles. And it's because they're really great at what they do, but you can get really insecure really quickly when it feels like you're drinking from a fire hose. So I'm really excited to see those women and, their amazing summit and all of that as well, because man, if I had, like I said earlier, had that type of support, I could only imagine how much more confident I would have felt in that role faster. And I was working for a really supportive business owner, and even then you can feel insecure. So just knowing that those women might be just brand new to management, period, and can have that community and learn and eventually, like you're saying, turn around and give advice because there's somebody else new in there. Like, I think that's really great. And so I love that overall, any woman that's in there managing some people can have a place to ask some questions and get support.
100%. And I think the other big thing for me too is, Paisley, this is an environment that we've created really, truly that is all about the whole human experience, right?
Yes.
And so you're going to come and you're going to get lots of professional development, right? All of our breakout sessions are really, really geared towards that. You're going to get really, really amazing things to take back to your company, to your leadership team, how to grow them, how to develop them, how to do some amazing things in the company. But then there's also a very personal component to it as well. We're gonna have sessions that are specifically about how you're taking care of yourself and setting goals for yourself. So it's a whole human experience, not just a personal or professional or business. It takes everything into consideration.
Yeah, one thing that I thought was really cool was, and of course I won't share specifics because it's a safe space at Summit, but just seeing how many women were talking about how Summit has changed their life for themselves and their families and their marriages, like that made me so emotional. I was like, seeing people have these light bulb moments of hearing other people's conversations about how, planning with their husband and getting dates on the calendar has changed their life, and, purposeful time with their children. And, that was so impactful, and something at my first summit didn't know to expect that. And so just hearing those stories, I just remember it felt like there wasn't a dry eye in the room hearing people's experiences with that, and just seeing so many women. And, I know some people now that it's really changed their relationships, and it's really cool to see, and they wouldn't have got there without Summit. And it's crazy to think that you go there to thinking it's going to be about business, and getting that personal side of it is really great. So I I love it. I'm excited to see everybody cry again this year. I don't know what topic will get people, but I'm excited to see which one it is. But
yeah, I love that too, because there's two stories that come to mind for me when we talk about this, and one of them is someone who was sharing with me, affirmations are a big thing for me, and there was one year in particular that I really shared my story, and how I went from a very insecure leader to really finding myself, to really like being confident in who I am as an individual, and kind of my process in doing that. And part of that process was really identifying what are my affirmations, and then standing in front of the mirror every morning and repeating those out loud, right? And the next year, she came up to us. She came up to me and said, I've been doing this. I've been saying my affirmations in the mirror every morning, and I'm growing in my confidence as I'm saying them out loud. And she did not realize that her daughter was overhearing her until she got on a call. It was her mother was calling to tell her daughter happy birthday, and she said, how old are you? And the little girl said, I am 6. I am strong. I am, kind. I am. And she just realized that the work that she was doing on herself, her daughter was just seeing it and witnessing it and being part of it too. And now to know that something that was so meaningful to me and made such a big impact in my life is not only inspiring other women who are currently, in leadership and doing it, but it's inspiring the next generation. Like, that was just so meaningful to me, to know that it's being carried on. And then I think on the other side, it's such a personal side of it, but there's so many stories I could tell that are similar to this. But I'll never forget a woman who came one year to us and just said, I think I'm done. Like, I'm done with this company. We have had this particular issue that just keeps popping up. And it's a recurring issue, almost like clockwork, month after month after month. It's a new version of this same issue. And I've had it. I think I'm going to turn in my notice, and I think I'm going to move on, because clearly I can't get this solved. And I'm drained. I'm exhausted from this issue. And they're, watching, 10, 15 women like jump in and say, hey girl, I've been there, right? Like, first of all, like, you are not alone. Like, it happens to everybody. And then watching them jump in and say, hey, when something similar happened to me, this is something that I tried. And then the next woman saying, hey, yeah, this didn't work for me. Like, red flag, take that as a warning. And but this did work for me, and just woman after woman contributing and being part of that conversation. And I'll never forget, it was like 3 or 4 months later, she came back to the group, and just incredibly emotional, in tears. She said, I took a little bit of this one and a little bit of this one and a little bit of this one, and here's what I presented to my team. And for the first time, we have gone multiple months without it being an issue. We finally got to the root of what was happening, and we finally solved the issue.
I love
And
that.
she was just so relieved, right? And so, like, she wanted to continue with the company, and she wanted to take them to new levels. But her confidence in herself too, that she could now do that. Like, it was just beautiful to watch and be part of. And I think I can speak for the rest of the women that were contributing to that conversation too. The reward that we got, that in some little small way, we were part of that. It was so incredible for us too.
Definitely. And it's crazy how just bits and pieces of something, if you weren't in that conversation, you wouldn't have heard those 4 or 5 things that ended up working. And so that's amazing. And I'm sure there's hundreds of those stories in your head, and those are both amazing. And, for anybody out there wondering what they could get out of this community, I feel like those examples are exactly what the purpose of this space is, right? So I love that. And thank you for sharing those stories. They're really great.
Thank you. Yeah.
Awesome. Well, I know we've been on here for a bit. So if anybody's having questions like, is this community right for me? What would you say?
I would definitely say yes. If you are sitting in the integrator, COO, or equivalent role, yes, this is a space that is for you. We designed it specifically for women who are in this role. And so if you're looking for that collaboration, if you're looking for, support, if you're looking to grow your confidence, 100% jump in, reach out to me, let me know how we can support you. And same, if you're sitting in that leadership team role and you're looking for that support, there is community for you as well. And these women are incredible, to get to know and be part of. So 100% yes, be part of it.
Awesome. And if you've got questions, reach out to me too. I'm happy I'm here. Message me on LinkedIn. Like, I can't speak more highly of this group, and I would not be where I'm at right now without the support that I had last year, and just everybody that was like, you can do this, like, believe in yourself and it will happen. And I think I'd probably be in some role unhappy just to have gotten a job and not believed in myself. And now I'm working with amazing clients that I love to support, and I have so much fun, and being able to be in that COO seat with multiple companies and really help them grow has been great. So I appreciate all the support that I've gotten, and it's really changed who I am and the beliefs I have in myself. So I love it. And if you need support, this is your support system. So
We are your people. And
yes.
you've mentioned that you're a fractional integrator, but I want to be crystal clear that this is a community of fractionals. It's a community of full-time, like, women who have been in the role for 15, 20 years, and women who literally, some of them, I'm slightly jealous of them too, that the women that are just getting started, who are, starting focus day and, really kind of diving deep into their operating system. Like, for me, I'm like, oh yes, to have this community so early on would have been amazing.
Yes.
So it really truly is. It's women of, there's no specific industry. Like, we really truly service all industries. Women who are just getting started, who've been in it for 15, 20 years. There's space for you everywhere.
Definitely. Yeah. One thing that stands out to me from Summit again was just being in that roundtable, and somebody was like, well, my industry is so specific. I don't know if you can help with this issue. And it's like, businesses and organizations, they're teams, they're people. So I haven't been in your industry, but I guarantee you we can help you out. So, I love that, you might be in manufacturing and I might be managing like a SaaS company, right? You have no idea what I do and vice versa, but you're able to help each other. So yeah, if
Mhm.
you're feeling isolated alone, a lot of women, especially in like the manufacturing and that COO seat, is really rare. So like, those people to have this community is amazing. And so just if you're in it, share it, get everybody in here, like, and anybody can be supported here. So I love that.
Well, and you bring up a really great point too, Paisley, because sometimes, like, if we are in a service, industry, we tend to have others in our network that are also in service industry. And so to bring someone in that's, manufacturing and warehousing and, and manual, whatever it may be, to bring everybody together in the space, they're different experiences that they bring to the table, the experiences that you bring to them. It's amazing that now, it's, instead of having similar solutions or similar thoughts, opinions, experiences, I can now hear from somebody who's doing it, like, very different than me.
Yes.
And that may get a new creative idea flowing that I hadn't thought of before, because I'm surrounded by, the same type of leaders. And so to have more leaders in the room, it really does. It's very eye-opening to
Yes.
see how different people do it.
Yeah, I love it. I think about, like, in the Colby space, they say like a lot of managers tend to clone themselves when they're hiring. So I feel like that's kind of similar. People that are in, sales are all going to be similar if they're in the same industry. So it's kind of like that mindset of, it's another clone of you because it's very similar to what you're doing. So getting a completely different perspective is really a game changer. So yeah, everybody join, everybody be a part of it, and we'll all learn even more from each other.
Exactly.
Awesome. Well, I know you usually like to end with honor, empower, and inspire. And I feel like since we're talking so much about the community, let's put a little bit of a different twist on it. So let's start with honor. Who would you like to honor today?
Oh, wow. Thinking of, community members that I would honor. it's a special group of women that I really want to honor. It really, truly, thinking about how honor means for me, honoring a past generation. I want to put a spin on that of honoring someone who they were involved in HERverse and now they've transitioned to a different role, and that's the women who were integrators sitting in that COO seat and have now transitioned over to the visionary. I just want to honor them and all of the things that they have experienced, all the knowledge that they have gotten over the years that have led them to where they are. Just honoring that space for them and recognizing that they've worked really, really hard to be, in a new space, and the courage that it takes to go from something that is so comfortable sitting in that integrator seat to now, being seen differently, in that visionary role or, in that CEO role.
I love that. I love that. We all need that, and I'm glad that you've got that community and that you guys are all able to do that and honor each other. So that's really great. How about empower? Who would you like to empower?
I don't think when it comes to the community, I don't think there's one specific person that I could, just point out to empower. But I will say, I really hope that, as the founder of HERverse and, as the person who now gets to kind of lead, this community, I hope that I empower all of those around me that, they're leaning into their strengths and they're confidently, running towards things and that they just really truly feel supported. And I can say, if there's one person that I would point out, she is someone who just empowers me incredibly to lean into my strength, and that just happens to be my integrator, Haley Plaster, who, she really challenges me and pushes me to be my absolute best. She challenges me to think bigger. She really truly is that support person for me. So I hope to empower all of the women that are sitting in this seat, and then she is definitely the one that really truly empowers me.
I love that. Haley's so amazing and always so supportive, and she has such a passion for everything that you guys are doing. And it's really been great to see her help you establish these things you're excited about and take HERverse to a whole nother level. So I couldn't agree with you more on the empower there. And last but not least, inspire. Let's end this thing strong. Who is somebody you'd like to inspire?
Yeah. So thinking about community here too, I would really say I hope to inspire those that are growing into an integrator role or a COO role, or even into a leadership team role, right? Maybe they're a mid management right now and they aspire to be on that senior executive leadership team, and they're growing and developing into that. And what can I learn? What can I be part of to make that journey for them possible? And then same, for women who are maybe sitting on that executive team, that they're looking at that integrator role saying, that's who I am. Like that's my innate abilities are to see and connect the dots, and I really truly want to have the responsibility of running the organization. I really hope to inspire them that, listen, if I can do it, my friend, so can you. So
Yes.
can you.
Yes, I feel very few people actually see themselves in that seat. And if you have those thoughts, get there. You want to do it, you will get there. And so I love that. And you're a great, like you were an integrator and now a visionary, right? You made it to the top. So whether you want to be an amazing integrator, amazing manager, I love that. That's great. That's great.
Yeah.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much, Kristie. This has been so much fun. I feel like we could talk for another hour and a half, but thank you so much for allowing me to ask you these questions and be a part of this. And I just love everything that you've built, and excited to see where all this I'm going to end it wrong. And just seeing everything grow and get better. And I had to have one hiccup, right? And just seeing everything elevate. I'm so excited about all of that. And I'm glad to be along for the ride.
Well, I'm so excited. Thank you for coming on and, and flipping the mic on me and interviewing me. It's been fun. You've made me feel really comfortable in this seat. So thank you for
Awesome.
that. And thank you for being part of HERverse and believing in us and who we are. You're a really special, integrate part of what we do. So thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Bye, everybody.
Bye. See you next week.
Yes.
Thank you so much for tuning in to this episode of ConvHERsation with Kristie. I hope you're walking away with a few nuggets of inspiration, maybe a new perspective, or just a reminder that you're not alone in your leadership journey. If this episode resonated with you, share it with a friend, drop us a comment, or tag us with your favorite takeaway. And don't forget to subscribe so you never miss an episode. Until next time, keep showing up, keep leading with heart, and keep building the kind of life and leadership that feels true to you. I'll see you in the next ConvHERsation.